Hi boys and girls, today on Corrie's cooking show we are going to be making gingerbread cookies. Our recipe calls for one cup of butter. And each one of these is a half a cup. So we need 2 of them to make 1 cup. It also calls for a half a cup of brown sugar, a 1/3 cup of molasses. Let's see if I can, there we go. It also calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ginger, a half a teaspoon of ground cloves, and 2½ to 2 2/3 cup flour. In here is 2½ and then here's the remainder if we need more for the 2 2/3 cup. We're going to be using a mixer. And if you don't have a mixer at home, that's okay. You can use a bowl and a spoon or a hand mixer, whichever you have. So let's get started. First, it tells us that we need to cream the butter and the sugar. So we are going to put in butter, and those will go thrown away, and the brown sugar. All right. I got some butter on my fingers. Okay, so we're going to put that down. We're going to put the cover on here. There we go. And we're going to turn it on. I'm going to get this. All right. Let's get all this pushed down. And that's what it looks like when the butter and the sugar is all mixed together. Okay, so we're going to put this back on here. And then it wants us to mix in the molasses. Here we go. Get a smaller spatula. All of it out of there. we're going to turn this back. Alrighty. Ooh. That made it very dark. All right, let's knock that down again. All right. Now it wants us to mix in the spices and the baking soda. I don't have this locked in. There we go. All right. Let's get all this off of here so you can make sure it's all good and mixed. All right. So we're going to put that down, put this back on. There we go. And then we're going to add in all the spices. The baking soda. And turn it back on. Now it wants us to slowly add in, I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like adding that in. It kind of looks the same. Now it wants us to add in the flour. Put that back down. Put this on here, and this is a guard so all the dust doesn't come in my face. Oh, let's see, we are going to use a half a cup to start adding the flour in. We're just going to add in a little bit at a time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn it on. A little bit more. Oh, oven just went off. And we're going to add in a little bit more. the 2.5 cups of flour. Let's see if we're going to need more. All right, let's take this guy off. Turn this up. I do not believe we will need any more. I think it looks good this way. Let's get all off the sides. This off here so I can show you. This is what it looks like. Alrighty. So now we are going to slide that back on there for just a second. Put this down. We're going to put this right on top of the stove. I'm going to slide all of our cups over. And then it wants us to dump the dough onto the counter and flatten it out. Mix it all together because right now it's kind of separates from itself. I'll show you guys that in just a second. So it can be washed. All right. So see how it's kind of clumpy and it's kind of separated? So what it wants us to do is it wants us to knead it, mix it all together. There we go. Oh. And it's getting stuck to the counter. And you know how we can fix that? We can put down a little bit of flour. So let me grab this one. Got a little bit of flour from over here. Sprinkle a little bit of flour. Now it's not so sticky. Alrighty. Now what it wants us to do is it wants us to roll it out. And I got a rolling pin here, and if you don't have a rolling pin, then you can use a cup. Like something like this, just a plastic cup that you can roll it, or even a glass cup that you can use to roll it. It's starting to get stuck to this, so I'm going to sprinkle some flour on my measuring cup, or on my rolling pin. more flour. Sprinkle it on there again. All right. There we go. And I think that's about good. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to cut the dough into sections. So we can put it in a Ziploc bag on some parchment paper so it can chill for 1 to 2 hours. Oh no, it wants to separate. Oh, here we go. There is number 1. Let's get some more parchment paper. Add that back over there. Perfect. Number 2. And let's get another piece of parchment paper. For the 3rd section. Starting to fall apart a little bit. So we're just going to blend it back together. Let's see if we can get these. Number 2's in. Perfect. And we'll put those in the fridge and let them chill for 1 to 2 hours. Hi boys and girls, we are back. Our recipe wants us to turn on our oven to 350 degrees. I got our dough out of the refrigerator. Here it is. I got a cookie sheet. And I got a gingerbread cutout. If you don't have a gingerbread cutout, that's fine. You can always use a butter knife and cut something out of it. but I'm going to use this gingerbread cutout. Going to press down, wiggle it a little bit, push it out. Now I have a little gingerbread person. And I'm going to repeat that until I'm out of space on the dough. Putting them all on the cookie sheet. I have ran out of space on the dough, so what you can do is crumple it all back together in a ball and grab your rolling pin or your cup or whatever you're using to flatten it back out. Do a couple more. Some more flour. It's getting a little sticky. Here's our cookie sheet of gingerbread cookies. Now we're going to stick it in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. We'll be back. Okay, boys and girls, we are back. Our timer is getting ready to go off in about a minute. Our gingerbreads are gonna be done. I'm going to grab my oven mitt. here are our gingerbreads. Five boys and girls.